Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories tonight. 9 people killed in controversial circumstance in Apo, Abuja. President Jonathan sacks 2 of his aides with immediate effect. DPR warns oil marketers in the downstream sector to stop engaging in sharp practices or have their licenses revoked. And Syria submits chemical arms data to avoid U.S. military action. You can get details on our top stories and other programs on our website. It's channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. But to get us on the move, then visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on an iPad, an iPhone, or a BlackBerry. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android and Nokia Now 20 from their respective stores. Politics now. The Bamanga Tukur-led faction of the People's Democratic Party has urged the estranged members of the party to desist from actions and utterances capable of derailing the ongoing attempts to peacefully resolve the crisis rocking the party. The National Publicity Secretary of the party, Olisa Metu, told journalists in Abuja that the Bamanga faction is towing the path of caution out of respect to the president and the leadership of the party and not out of weakness. He, however, insisted that the party is not considering removing Bamanga Tukur as its national chairman, in line with one of the demands of the Abubakar Baraje-led faction of the party. Meanwhile, the socio-political group known as the Voice of the South is throwing its weight behind President Goodluck Jonathan for his re-election in the 2015 general election. A group believes that the president, as a citizen of the country, is free to recontest. Declaring their stand, the publicity secretary of the group, Dr. Shawaribi Toholafari, said the president has brought in the history of political leadership and intellectual approach in the country.
These men and women from the 6 South-South states making up the zone have come together to throw their weight behind President Goodluck Jonathan, a voice Nigerians must hear.
After half a century since independence, our own man, a person of South-South region, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, is president. With his ascendancy, we have seen for the first time after the Civil War an intellectual approach to governance. We declare our unshakable support for the presidency of Dr. Goodluck Jonathan.
The chairman of the group, Engineer Mike Ogiasa, insists that President Jonathan will continue in 2015.
That the people of the South-South are having no room for him to come back to stay here in 2015. He must remain in Abuja from 2015 to 2019.
Answering questions from journalists, one after the other, members of the group give their reason for their support to the president's second term in the face of the crisis rocking the PDP.
Every individual have crisis in their homes. All the pains can handle them. PDP is a family. We, the South-South people, have understood the intrigues that produces this crisis. And we came up together as a voice from South-South to say enough is enough.
Those that have been trying to destabilize the government of Goodluck Jonathan are doing so such that he can run into his hole and relinquish his mandate, the mandate that you and I gave to him. And this we will not allow to happen.
Let us continue to protect, let us continue to defend, but let us not go to arm carrying. If we do that, God will get angry the way he got angry with the Israelites.
It may be a new group, but the members say they are pushing the agenda forward in defense of the cause of the South-South people in the country.
Staying with issues surrounding the president's re-election bid, the leadership of the People's Democratic Party in Anambra State, at a well-attended political rally in Awka, the state capital, today declared full support for the president. The leaders also told their followers to ignore insinuations coming from the opposition that the PDP is facing internal crisis that may eventually consume it.
If anybody that is present here that is still supporting the resolution passed by the rally organized by our Able chairman a week to the barely a week to our congresses, adopting President Goodluck Jonathan that you should continue for another 4 years from 2015. If you are in support of that resolution, raise up your hand. The authority of the National Working Committee and the National Executive Committee of People's Democratic Party. No more group, no more faction in PDP Anambra State.
Away from politics to governance, the wind of sack blowing in the presidency appears not to be over just yet. President Goodluck Jonathan has relieved 2 more of his aides of their appointments. They are the Special Advisor to the President on National Assembly Matters, Mrs. Joy Emodi, and the Special Advisor on the New Partnership for Africa's Development, Dr. Tunji Olagunju. In a press statement signed by the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Dr. Ruben Abati, the President expressed appreciation for their services and wished them success in their future endeavor. The removal of both officials is with immediate effect. But there is always more to lie beyond political appointments. So this was a standpoint of leaders and members of the People's Democratic Party in Osun State when they turned out to receive the former Minister of State for Defense, Mrs. Olushola Obada, in Ilesha. During a series of events held in her honor today, Mrs. Obada appreciated the support she received from the President and the top hierarchy of the armed forces during her tenure as Minister of Defense.
It could well be described as the return of a heroine. After almost 3 years of national service, the former Minister of State for Defense returns to her roots, her hometown in Ilesha, Osun State, to a huge welcome. At the Methodist Church in Ilesha, she arrives accompanied by her spouse to give thanks to the Almighty God for sustaining her through the murky waters of politics and governance.
Let the Lord rule my soul and forget not all his benefits.
You will ask yourself, why me? Why here? Why now? Many times we suffer not because we did anything wrong.
Mrs. Olushola Obada's track record is extolled by people she worked with in government and politics.
We in the National Assembly or in the committee in the Senate, we work with her. Our relationship very cordial, and we are very happy, and we wish her all the best.
The procession of triumph continues through the streets into the warm embrace of the royal father, the paramount ruler of Ijesha land and his subjects. For the man who stood behind a successful woman, was it all worth the effort?
Defense Academy. For the first time, we have seen women warplane pilots, women who will fly warplanes in Nigeria. It never happened before.
I give God the glory for using President Jonathan to give me that opportunity to serve my country. It was a pleasure working with the armed forces.
While her political associates celebrate, what does the future hold for her political career?
Once a politician, always a politician.
Yes. The illustrious daughter has come home to be celebrated by her kinsmen. Where next the political wind blows for the Amazon, not even she can tell.
Well, the President will fly to New York tomorrow to participate in the 68th session of the United Nations General Assembly, which is expected to focus on identifying parameters for the post-2015 Global Development Agenda. President Goodluck Jonathan, who is also scheduled to meet Mama, will join other world leaders for high-level talks and discussions on ways and means of building on the progress made thus far towards achieving the Millennium Development Goals that were agreed in the year 2000. The President and members of his delegation will participate in other high-level events focusing on women, youth and civil society, human rights and the rule of law, as well as the use of information communication technology for development. The Nigerian delegation, led by President Jonathan, will contribute to thematic debates on the role of partnerships, how stable and peaceful societies can contribute to development, and the role of potable water, sanitation and sustainable energy in the post-2015 Global Development Agenda. Well, the acting National Vice Chairman, South-South of the All Progressives Congress, Mr. Tommy Kimi, says it is not true that human rights lawyer Festus Keyamo has been adopted as a senatorial candidate of the party for the Delta Central senatorial seat. Mr. Akimi, who was speaking in the Edo State capital, Benin City, insisted that neither the Independent National Electoral Commission nor the Senate has declared the seat vacant following the death of Senator Pius Ewerido. He explained that the organ of the APC in Delta State at the moment is the Interim National Executive Committee, and the party is still in the process of putting in place a state harmonizing committees there. We cross over to Cross River State, where local council elections hold tomorrow, September 21st, despite a court ruling today on its jurisdiction to hear the suit filed by the All Progressives Congress over its participation in the election. The APC may not be participating in the polls because it has not met the requirement of 90 days stipulated in the Electoral Act for any party to participate in an election after registration. Chairman of the Cross River State Independent Electoral Commission, Mr. Patrick Otu, says the commission is ready and people should discard rumors that the election will not take place. And where the news at 10 returns, police say the biometric system will minimize car theft in Nigeria. That's in a moment. Do join us again.